The stars looked different today. Captain Jake Murphy stood at the large window of the International Contact Facility, watching the sky above Nevada's desert. Somewhere up there, alien ships were coming to Earth for the first time in human history. "Jake?" "They're here," called Dr. Lisa Brown from across the room. She was looking at her computer screen, her face pale with excitement and fear. Lisa had spent 20 years studying religions around the world, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. The facility buzzed with activity. Scientists and diplomats rushed back and forth, checking equipment and reviewing protocols. Dr. Sam Collins adjusted his tie nervously. As Earth's lead anthropologist for First Contact, he had written hundreds of pages about what this day might be like. Now that it was happening, his hands shook slightly. Maria Rodriguez sat at her desk, running final checks on the translation systems. She had learned 17 languages in her career, but alien languages would be something completely new. The computer screens around her showed green lights. Everything was ready. Outside, the desert air shimmered. Then, without warning, a massive ship appeared in the sky. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The ship looked like it was made of silver and blue crystal, catching the sunlight and throwing rainbow patterns across the sand below. "My God," whispered Sam, then caught himself. They had been told to be careful about religious language during First Contact. Who knew how aliens might react to such words? The ship landed softly, making no sound at all. A section of its side opened like a flower blooming, and 3 figures walked out. They moved smoothly across the desert toward the facility. Jake took a deep breath. "Okay, everyone, this is it. Remember the plan. Be friendly, be honest, and let them lead the conversation." The aliens entered through the main doors. The first one was tall and looked like it was made of blue crystal that changed colors as it moved. Behind it came 2 others, one that looked like a walking tree with silver bark, and another that seemed to be made of flowing water held in a clear, human-like shape. "Greetings," said the crystal being, its voice coming from a small device on its chest. "I am Captain Vextar of the ship Nexus Dawn. We represent the Zephyrian Collective." Jake stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. I'm Commander Jake Murphy. These are my colleagues, Dr. Lisa Brown, Dr. Sam Collins, and Maria Rodriguez." The crystal alien's color shifted to a warmer blue. "Thank you for accepting our visit. This is Dr. Kethra." It pointed to the tree-like being, "our specialist in the study of different species cultures, and this is Navigator Killen." Maria's translation system worked perfectly, turning the alien's strange sounds into clear English. She made notes on her computer, fascinated by how their language worked. "Please sit with us," Lisa said, gesturing to a large round table they had prepared. The furniture had been specially made to accommodate different body types, though they had only guessed at what aliens might look like. Captain Vexitar settled into what looked like a crystal chair, while Dr. Kethra's roots extended slightly to anchor itself to the floor. Navigator Keelan simply flowed into a chair-like shape. "Your planet is remarkable," said Dr. Kethra, its voice sounding like wind through leaves. "We have observed 12 different climate zones and thousands of species. Very impressive for a single world." "Thank you," Sam replied. "We are proud of Earth's diversity. We understand you'd like to learn about our culture." Dr. Kethra's branches rustled, apparently their version of a nod. "Yes, the collective has specific procedures for meeting new species. We must understand your society before we can offer membership in our alliance." Jake felt his heart rate increase. Membership in a galactic alliance. This was beyond humanity's wildest dreams just 50 years ago. "We're happy to answer any questions," Lisa said. Dr. Kethra pulled out what looked like a clear tablet that glowed with soft light. "Let us begin with standard cultural assessment. First, your government structure." For the next 2 hours, they discussed human politics, economics, and social structures. The aliens seemed puzzled by the complexity, but impressed by humanity's ability to cooperate despite having nearly 200 different nations. "Fascinating," noted Dr. Kethra. "Most species achieve unity before developing space travel. You have maintained diversity while advancing, very unusual." Captain Vexistar's color shifted to a curious purple. This brings us to our next required question. All species in the collective must demonstrate religious stability. Please describe your species' relationship with your deities and divine hierarchy. The room went quiet. Lisa looked at Jake, who glanced at Sam, who turned to Maria. They had prepared for many questions, but somehow this one felt different. More important. Lisa cleared her throat carefully. That's actually a complicated question for humans. Dr. Kethra's branches stopped moving entirely. Complicated? How so? Well, Lisa began slowly. Humans don't have just one religion. We have many different beliefs about gods and the divine. The aliens exchanged what might have been surprised looks. It was hard to tell with such different faces. Many? Asked Captain Vextar. How many? Sam leaned forward. Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands if you count all the variations and local beliefs. Navigator Keelan rippled like disturbed water. This is highly unusual. In our experience, species develop one true understanding of the divine. This understanding brings peace and unity. Maria spoke up. For humans, having many different beliefs is normal. Some of us worship one god, some worship many gods, and some don't believe in gods at all. Dr. Kethra's tablet flickered as if it was having trouble processing this information. But how do you maintain social order? How do you make decisions about right and wrong? Lisa smiled slightly. That's where it gets really complicated. The alien sat in what appeared to be stunned silence. Captain Vextar's color shifted rapidly through several hues before settling on a deep, troubled blue. Perhaps, he said carefully, you could explain this in more detail. Lisa took a deep breath and looked at her alien guests. Their faces were hard to read, but she could sense their confusion. She had spent her whole career studying different religions, but she had never tried to explain them all to someone who expected only one answer. Let me start with Christianity, she said. Many humans believe in one God who exists in three forms: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Christians believe that God's Son, Jesus, came to earth to save humanity from sin. Dr. Kethra's branches trembled slightly. One God in three forms? How is this possible? It's called the Trinity, Lisa explained. Christians say it's a mystery that human minds can't fully understand. Captain Vextar's color shifted to a confused yellow. But you said this is just one of your beliefs? That's right, Lisa continued. Then we have Islam. Muslims believe in one God called Allah, and they follow the teachings of a prophet named Muhammad. They pray 5 times a day and believe the Quran is God's final message to humanity. Navigator Keelan rippled nervously. Another single God, but different from the first? Well, some people say it's the same God, but understood differently, Sam added helpfully. The aliens looked even more confused. Dr. Kethra made notes on her glowing tablet, but her movements seemed uncertain. Then there's Judaism, Lisa went on. Jewish people believe they have a special covenant, a promise, with God. They follow laws given by God to Moses, including the 10 Commandments. Stop, said Captain Vextar, his color now flashing between several hues rapidly. These are all different gods? Some people think so, some don't, Maria said. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all trace their beliefs back to the same early stories, but they understand them very differently. Dr. Kethra's tablet flickered again. This is unprecedented, but surely these are your main beliefs. Lisa shook her head. We're just getting started. Hinduism is one of the world's oldest religions. Hindus might worship hundreds or even thousands of different gods and goddesses. They believe in reincarnation, that souls are reborn after death into new bodies. Thousands of gods? Dr. Kethra's voice cracked like breaking wood. Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, Shiva the destroyer, Sam listed. Plus local gods, family gods, gods for every aspect of life you can imagine. Captain Vextar stood up suddenly, his crystal form now cycling through colors so fast, it hurt to look at. This makes no sense. How can one species believe in one god, 3 gods, and thousands of gods all at the same time. Different people believe different things, Jake said calmly. But wait, there's more. The navigator made a sound like water going down a drain. More? Buddhism, Lisa continued. Buddhists follow the teachings of the Buddha, who taught that suffering comes from desire. They seek enlightenment and release from the cycle of rebirth. But many Buddhists don't worship gods at all. No gods? Dr. Kethra whispered. The Buddha was a teacher, not a god. Though some people do treat him like one, Maria explained. Buddhism is more about finding inner peace and wisdom. Sam pulled out a tablet and showed them a world map. Look, we can show you where these beliefs are strongest, but they're all mixed together. In some places, people combine different religions. The map lit up with different colors showing the spread of world religions. The aliens stared at it like they were looking at something impossible. In Japan, Sam pointed to the map, many people practice both Buddhism and Shinto. Shinto believes that spirits live in natural things like trees, mountains, and rivers. Spirits in trees? Dr. Kethra looked down at her own bark-like body with what might have been alarm. Not like you, Lisa said quickly. More like magical essences that deserve respect. Jake decided to make things even more interesting. Then we have Native American beliefs, actually hundreds of different tribal religions. Some believe in a great spirit, others in many nature spirits. Each tribe has its own stories and ceremonies. African traditional religions, Sam added, with ancestor worship and connection to the spirit world. Norse mythology that some people still follow today with gods like Odin and Thor. Captain Vex's tar sat back down heavily. This is chaos, pure chaos. How does your species function? We manage, Maria said with a smile. Most people get along just fine with their neighbors, even if they believe completely different things about God. But the conflicts, Dr. Kethra said. Surely you fight constantly over these differences. Jake's expression grew serious. We have fought religious wars, yes. The Crusades, the 30 Years' War, conflicts in Ireland, the Middle East. Religion has been used to justify terrible things. The aliens leaned forward, as if this made more sense to them. But, Jake continued, we've also learned from those mistakes. Most modern societies protect religious freedom. People have the right to believe what they choose. And then there are the people who don't believe in any gods at all, Sam added. Captain Vextar's color went completely white. No gods at all? Atheists, Lisa explained. They think religion is just human imagination. And agnostics who say we can't know if gods exist or not. Some people worship science instead of gods, Maria said. They believe only in what can be proven and tested. Dr. Kethra's tablet made a sound like breaking glass. Your species has no religious unity at all? None, Jake confirmed. And somehow we've still managed to build civilization, explore space, create art, help each other, and work together on global problems. The 3 aliens sat in complete silence. Finally, Navigator Killen spoke in a voice like distant ocean waves. In all our travels across the galaxy, we have never encountered anything like this. Every species we know found one truth and built their society around it. What if there isn't just one truth? Lisa asked gently. The question hung in the air like a challenge to everything the aliens thought they knew about civilization itself. Captain Vexitar's crystal body had stopped changing colors entirely. He sat perfectly still, like a statue carved from blue stone. Dr. Kethra's branches drooped toward the floor, and Navigator Killen had become so still that she looked more like a puddle than a person. We need to understand, Dr. Kethra said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. How did your species reach this state? Please explain your history. Lisa nodded and activated a large screen on the wall. Images began to flow across it, ancient temples, old paintings, and historical scenes. Thousands of years ago, humans lived in small groups, she began. Each group developed their own beliefs about the world around them. When they saw lightning, they imagined a thunder god. When crops grew well, they thanked a harvest goddess. The screen showed cave paintings and ancient statues. These early religions were very different from each other. People in Egypt worshipped animal-headed gods, like Anubis and Horus. People in Greece believed in gods like Zeus and Athena, who lived on a mountain and acted like powerful humans. But surely, Captain Vexistar interrupted, as your species grew more advanced, you discovered the truth. Sam shook his head. Instead, we developed more complex religions. Buddhism started in India about 2,500 years ago. Christianity began in the Middle East about 2,000 years ago. Islam started about 1,400 years ago. And they spread, Maria added, pointing to animated maps on the screen. Christianity spread across Europe and later to the Americas. Islam spread across North Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. Buddhism spread throughout Asia. Dr. Kethra looked at the spreading colors on the map with growing alarm. They invaded each other's territories? You fought wars over these beliefs? Jake's face grew serious. Yes. The Crusades lasted for centuries. Christians trying to take holy lands from Muslims. Catholics and Protestants killed each other in Europe for decades. Buddhists and Hindus have fought. Muslims and Hindus have fought. Almost every combination you can imagine. The aliens seemed to lean back in their chairs, as if the humans had just confessed to being monsters. But, Lisa said quickly, that's not the whole story. Let me show you something else. The screen changed to show a hospital. People of different races and wearing different religious symbols worked together, caring for patients. This is a hospital in New York, Lisa explained. The head doctor is Jewish. The chief nurse is Christian. They work alongside Muslim doctors, Hindu technicians, and Buddhist counselors. They save lives together every day. She clicked to another image, people of different faiths filling sandbags during a flood. When disasters happen, people don't ask about religion before they help. Christians and Muslims work side by side. Buddhists and Hindus share supplies. After the big earthquake in Japan, Sam added, help came from every religion. Christian organizations sent food. Muslim groups sent medical supplies. Jewish charities sent money. Buddhist temples opened their doors to refugees. Captain Vextar's color shifted slightly toward a puzzled green. But how is this possible if you fight over your beliefs? We learned, Jake said simply. The wars taught us that fighting over religion causes terrible suffering. So we developed something new, religious freedom. Maria brought up documents on the screen. Our laws protect people's right to believe whatever they want. In America, Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and atheists all have the same rights under the law. The same rights? Navigator Killen's watery form rippled with surprise. A Muslim can build a mosque next to a Christian church, Lisa explained. A Jewish family can live next door to a Hindu family. An atheist can run for government office. Dr. Kethra's branches began to straighten slightly. But doesn't this cause chaos? How do you make laws if everyone believes different things about right and wrong? We found common ground, Sam said. Most religions teach similar basic ideas. Don't kill innocent people. Don't steal. Help those in need. Tell the truth. Treat others fairly. The screen showed people working together in various settings. Laboratories, schools, construction sites, disaster relief operations. Our greatest scientific discoveries come from people with different beliefs working together, Lisa continued. The team that developed our space program included Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and atheists. They put aside their religious differences to reach for the stars. Jake stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the desert where the alien ship sat. You want to know our history? Here it is. We started with thousands of different beliefs. We fought terrible wars over those differences. Then we learned something amazing. He turned back to face the aliens. We learned that people can disagree about the biggest questions in the universe and still work together, still care for each other, still build wonderful things. Captain Vextar was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was very soft. Every species the collective has encountered achieved peace through unity of belief. The Zephyrians found truth in the Great Crystal. The Melonians worship the eternal flame. The Koraths follow the way of stone. Each species found their answer and built their civilization on that foundation. What if there isn't one answer? Maria asked. What if the search for answers is more important than finding them? Dr. Kethra's tablet made a soft chiming sound. I must ask, do your religious wars continue? Do people still fight over these beliefs? Sometimes, Jake admitted, but much less than before, and when conflicts do happen. People from all religions usually work together to stop them and help the victims. The aliens sat in silence, processing this information. Finally, Navigator Killen spoke. Your species has turned religious diversity into a strength rather than a weakness. That's exactly right, Lisa said with a smile. Our differences make us stronger, not weaker. Captain Vextar's color slowly shifted to a warm, thoughtful blue. This challenges everything we thought we knew about how civilizations develop. The room fell quiet again. The aliens seemed to be thinking deeply about everything they had learned. Captain Vextar's color had settled into a steady, thoughtful blue, but his crystal form still flickered occasionally as if he was struggling with new ideas. Dr. Sam Collins looked around at his colleagues, then at the aliens. He realized there was something even more important they needed to explain. There's something else you need to understand, Sam said, leaning forward in his chair. Something that might be the most important thing about humans and religion. Doctor, Kethra's branches perked up with interest. What do you mean? Sam chose his words carefully. You asked about our relationship with our gods. Here's the truth that might shock you. Many of us create our gods as much as we worship them. The translation device on Captain Vextar's chest made strange crackling sounds, as if it was trying to process something that didn't make sense. Create your gods? We do not understand this concept. Maria stood up and walked to the big screen. Let me show you what Sam means. She pulled up images of ancient cave paintings showing hunters and animals. 30,000 years ago, humans painted pictures on cave walls. They were trying to understand their world. The screen changed to show ancient statues and temples. When early humans saw the sun rise every day, they imagined a sun god driving a chariot across the sky. When they saw storms, they pictured a thunder god throwing lightning bolts. But these are not facts, Navigator Killen said, her watery form rippling with confusion. These are inventions? Stories, Lisa said gently. Humans tell stories to explain things we don't understand. Some of us believe the stories are literally true. Others see them as ways to teach important lessons about life. Jake walked over to join Maria by the screen. Look at this. The image showed a beautiful painting of angels helping people. Some Christians believe angels are real beings that help humans. Other Christians think angels represent the idea that good can triumph over evil. The same religion, but different understandings? Dr. Kethra asked. Exactly, Sam said. And here's the amazing part. Both groups often work together, even though they disagree about what's literally true and what's symbolic. Captain Vextar stood up suddenly. This is impossible. Truth is truth. Either these angels exist or they do not exist. Why can't both be true in different ways? Maria asked. Maybe angels exist for people who need them to exist. Maybe they're symbols for people who need symbols. Maybe they're just stories for people who learn from stories. The owl. Alien Captain's color flashed through several hues rapidly. You're saying your species builds religions around uncertainty? Around possibility, Lisa corrected. We build them around the idea that there's always more to learn, more to discover, more ways to understand the universe. Sam pulled up another image, a famous painting showing people from different religions sitting together and talking. Some of our greatest thinkers have been religious. Some have been atheists. Some have changed their minds many times during their lives. Changed their minds. Dr. Kethra sounded shocked. About the nature of the divine. People grow. They learn new things. They have new experiences, Jake explained. A person might be raised Christian, study Buddhism in college, become an atheist for a while, then find their own personal spiritual path. And this is acceptable? Navigator Killen asked. It's normal. Maria said with a smile. We call it a spiritual journey. Everyone's journey is different. The screen showed scientists working in laboratories. Our greatest scientists often have strong religious beliefs, Sam continued. They see their scientific work as exploring God's creation. Other scientists see the universe as beautiful and meaningful without any gods at all. But they work together? Captain Vextar asked. They have to, Lisa laughed. The universe doesn't care what you believe about it. The laws of physics work the same way for everyone. A Christian rocket scientist and an atheist rocket scientist will get the same results from the same experiments. Jake pointed to another image showing people helping after a natural disaster. When a hurricane hits, religious people pray for the victims and also bring food and medicine. Non-religious people don't pray, but they also bring food and medicine. Different motivations, same actions. Dr. Kethra was making notes on her tablet again, but her movements seemed less certain than before. This suggests that belief and behavior are separate things for humans. Sometimes, Sam agreed, a person might not believe in any gods but still think it's wrong to steal or hurt people. Another person might believe deeply in God but still make mistakes and do bad things. We judge people by their actions, not just their beliefs, Maria added. Captain Vextar sat back down, his color cycling through confused patterns. Every species we have encountered built their society on shared truth. You have built yours on shared questioning, shared searching, Lisa corrected. We're all looking for meaning, for purpose, for understanding. We just look in different directions. Navigator Killen made a sound like waves on a beach. But how do you make progress? How do you advance as a species if you cannot agree on basic truths? Jake smiled. That's just it. We advance because we can't agree. When everyone believes the same thing, no one asks new questions. When people believe different things, everyone has to keep explaining and defending and improving their ideas. Our art comes from this, Sam said, showing images of paintings, sculptures, and buildings from different cultures. Our music, our literature, our architecture, all of it comes from people trying to express their different understandings of life. Even our science, Maria added. Scientists have to prove their ideas to people who disagree with them. This makes science stronger. Dr. Kethra looked up from her tablet. You are saying that disagreement leads to progress? Respectful disagreement, Lisa emphasized. We've learned to argue about ideas without hating the people who have different ideas. The three aliens looked at each other in what might have been amazement or confusion or both. Captain Vextar spoke slowly. Your species has turned the search for truth into an art form. The silence in the room felt heavy, like the air before a thunderstorm. Captain Vextar stood perfectly still, his crystal body showing no color at all, just clear, transparent confusion. Dr. Kethra's branches had stopped moving entirely, and Navigator Killen looked more like a frozen pond than a living being. Finally, Captain Vextar spoke, his voice barely a whisper through the translation device. Your species. You have built an entire civilization on not knowing the answers? On knowing that there might be many answers, Jake corrected gently. Or that the best answer might be one we haven't thought of yet. Dr. Kethra's tablet slipped from her branch-like fingers and clattered on the floor. This is completely opposite to everything we understand about how societies develop. Lisa leaned forward. Tell us about your people. How did the Zephyrians achieve unity? Captain Vextar's color slowly returned, settling into a deep, troubled blue. 3,000 years ago, our people were divided into many clans. We fought constantly over resources, territory, and different beliefs about the nature of existence. Sounds familiar? Sam said quietly. Then the great crystal was discovered. Captain Vextar continued. It showed us the truth about the universe, how it began, why we exist, what our purpose is. Once we all accepted this truth, our conflicts ended. We achieved perfect unity. Perfect unity, Maria repeated. And the other species in your collective? Navigator Killen finally moved, her watery form rippling as she spoke. The Melonians found their truth in the eternal flame. It revealed to them the path of pure energy and thought. The Koraths discovered the way of stone, which teaches the strength of unchanging wisdom. Each species found their one true answer, Dr. Kethra added, picking up her tablet with shaking branches. Once they accepted this truth, they stopped questioning, stopped fighting, and began to build perfect societies. Jake exchanged glances with his colleagues. What if your crystal is wrong? What if there are other ways to understand the universe? Den. Question hit the aliens like a physical blow. Captain Vexistar's crystal form flashed bright white, then went completely dark. The crystal cannot be wrong. It is the source of all truth. But how do you know? Lisa asked softly. Have you ever tested it? Questioned it? Looked for other explanations? Dr. Kethra made a sound like branches breaking in a storm. To question the crystal would be unthinkable. It would destroy everything we have built. Or, Sam suggested, it might help you build something even better. The aliens stared at the humans as if they had just suggested breathing poison. Navigator Killen spoke in a voice like distant waves. You are asking us to consider that our entire civilization might be based on incomplete information? We're asking you to consider that maybe no civilization should be based on complete certainty, Maria said. Maybe the moment you stop asking questions is the moment you stop growing. Captain Vexistar walked to the window and looked out at his ship, then at the vast desert beyond. The collective has explored thousands of worlds. We have encountered hundreds of species. All of them achieved peace through unity of belief. You are the first to achieve, whatever this is, through diversity of belief. We call it freedom, Jake said simply. Dr. Kethra was scrolling through data on her tablet, her movements becoming more agitated. I am reviewing our cultural assessments of other species. Every single one shows the same pattern. Religious conflict followed by discovery of truth followed by peace and unity. Until now, Lisa said. Until now. Dr. Kethra agreed, her voice filled with something that might have been wonder or terror. Navigator Killen flowed closer to the humans. Your people continue to search for answers even though you have achieved space travel, global communication, and advanced technology. Especially because we've achieved those things, Sam said. Every new discovery leads to new questions. Every answer opens up 10 more mysteries. Captain Vextar turned back from the window. We must report this to the Collective Council immediately. They need to know about your approach. What will you tell them? Maria asked. That we have encountered a species that challenges the very foundation of galactic civilization, Captain Vexistar said, his color shifting to a pattern none of them had seen before, something like amazement mixed with fear. Dr. Kethra stood up suddenly. We request a formal recess to consult with our superiors. This is far beyond our authority to handle. Of course, Jake said. Take all the time you need. The aliens gathered their equipment and moved toward the door, but Captain Vextar paused, at the threshold. Before we go, I must ask, are you not afraid? Living with so much uncertainty, so many unanswered questions? Lisa smiled. We're terrified, and that's what makes life exciting. Hours passed. The humans waited, wondering if they had just made the greatest breakthrough in human history or the worst mistake. When the aliens returned, Captain Vextar's crystal form was cycling through colors rapidly, but there was something new in the pattern, something that looked almost like excitement. The Collective Council has made an unprecedented decision, he announced. Your application for membership has not been approved. The humans' hearts sank. It has been elevated, Captain Vextar continued, and now his colors definitely showed excitement. You are not being offered standard membership. You are being invited to join as philosophical advisors to the entire collective. Dr. Kethra's branches rustled with what might have been laughter. Several species have already requested detailed information about your religious diversity model. The Koraths want to know if questioning the Way of Stone might lead to new discoveries. The Melonians are asking whether the eternal flame might be just one truth among many. Navigator Killen rippled with amusement. You have accidentally started a revolution in galactic thinking. Jake looked around at his colleagues, then back at the aliens. We came here expecting to learn about the galaxy. Instead, we seem to have taught it something new. You have taught us the most important lesson of all, Captain Vextar said, his colors now settled into a warm, grateful gold. That the moment we stop asking questions is the moment we stop being truly alive. Maria Rodriguez would later write in her final report, "They asked us about our gods, expecting a simple answer. Instead, they discovered that our relationship with the divine is as complex and beautiful as humanity itself. And in trying to explain our beliefs, we reminded ourselves why our endless questioning might be the greatest gift we can offer to the universe." As the aliens prepared to leave, carrying with them ideas that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization, the humans realized that first contact had gone better than anyone could have imagined. Not because they had found their place in the galaxy, but because they had shown the galaxy new possibilities for what civilization could become. The universe, it seemed, was about to become a much more interesting place.